Hi, welcome to FemBoiTell'EM. I'm your host, Novon, and today we're going to be talking about the Attorney General in North Carolina. We're also going to be discussing who I think can beat the Man of Steel. After that, we're going to be talking about the rolling hot man of the moment. And we're going to be finishing up with a list of the richest gay men in the world. Without further ado, let's begin.
Struggling, I raise the flag up. Take off them handcuffs, baby, let's get these grands up. We started from the bottom, now it's time to stand up. Let me see those lighters, my riders, and twist your fingers up.
Alright guys, so without further ado, let's get started with the latest gay news, okay? So, in North Carolina, an attorney general by the name of Roy Cooper is backing the LGBT community by letting the world know that he is not for this law that's just passed, that's preventing transgendered people from using the bathroom of their sexual identity. Now, I just wanted to read you a quick quote, okay? Now, mind you, this Attorney General is actually a Democrat, so that's probably why he's not defending the law. I'm not really sure if North Carolina is a Republican state, but I would guess that it is a Republican state. If I had to guess, I mean, I'm not really sure. I didn't look that part up. But I just wanted to read you a quick quote, though, okay? So it says, this is from the Sun-Times. So the official lawsuit lists Cooper among the defendants because he's the top lawyer in that state. And it also quotes him directly by saying, "Not only is this new law a national embarrassment, it will set North Carolina's economy back if we do not appeal it." So, he is definitely for the LGBT community, and he's trying to get it appealed if he's not at least just saying that he feels that it should be. I'm pretty sure he's taken some kind of action towards getting the appeal, and I look forward to finding out any more information about the appeals for that law. If you guys know anything else about the bathroom law that just got passed in Carolina, please leave any comments below so we can discuss about or talk about the issue and what people should be trying to do. Without further ado, let's move on to the next part of our segment. Alright, so I know what you guys are thinking. With one kick, flick, or I-beam, Rogue would be dead. Just like Professor X in the third X-Men movie. However, most of the X-Men have not met Superman until recently. In the edition of The Last Sun, issue 5, some of the X-Men, including Rogue, got a chance to meet and work with Superman. So, Superman has been around for decades. The X-Men have been around for decades. And there are lots of stories about both characters, a variety of characters, both all of the X-Men, from Cyclops, Wolverine, mostly, Storm, and of course Rogue. And same thing goes for Superman in its own right. But they haven't actually had a crossover until recently. So with that in mind, I wanted to talk to you about a plan that I had, but I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit later, okay? So, since Rogue and Superman haven't actually met until recently, you can say that they actually haven't really met at all. So, that actually gives Rogue a massive advantage. Superman has a lot of powers, but he does not have the sense of intuition. So with that, she does have a good advantage on getting a sneak up on Superman. So before I go into that plan, I wanted to briefly talk about all the powers that each one of these characters have, so you can have something to clearly reference to when you're thinking about them actually having a fight. So for Superman, of course, he has the power to absorb solar energy from a yellow sun or a star. He has heat vision or solar flares, more recently, an ability he got. He has the ability of life longevity. So it's kind of hard to determine his age because he's not human, so he doesn't age the same way that humans do. He also has a solar invulnerability, which means that he he is not he's not as weak as humans are. He has an he's invulnerable to like bullets and things like that. So that the solar energy increases like the thickness of his skin, I'm guessing, and so when he is attacked, it bends, whatever is attacking him bounces off or bends. He's the man that's what makes him the Man of Steel. He also can fly. He has super strength and endurance. So when he's fighting super strong. That's why he can one punch somebody and send them flying to the other side of the earth, or not the other side, but send them to some different part of the planet. And he has a lot of endurance with that strength as well because he feeds off the energy of yellow stars, which we have in our solar system. He also has super speed and super reflexes. So those two also come in big handy when he's fighting. Okay, and he also has a little bit of martial art training that he got from a couple characters, including Batman. He has super breath, so he can turn things super cold with his breath. You know, I've seen it in a couple clips where he goes and he like freezes something with with his super lungs. He also has the power of X-ray vision, which in actuality would kill everyone around him when he used it, if he ever used it around any people at all. He has microscopic vision, so he can focus in, like, he has like hawk eyes, to have something to compare that supervision to. So it's like hawk eyes to the max or something like that, like times 10. He has super smell, so like a dog, I guess, but times 10 or times 100. He can change his voice, so he can mimic someone else's voice or just alter his original voice to sound different. He also can read radio waves. That ability is something that he actually got recently, so I don't really know too much about that at all. So I know, guys, that's like a long list. That was like 12 things. Like I mean, like, and they're all different. Like nothing has anything to do with the other in a sense for some of them. And so he's like, is he like God? I don't get it. Like, is like, he's a character who basically is invulnerable, but he has to act vulnerable in order for there to be a storyline. He kind of reminds me of One Punch Man, if I had someone to compare him to. Because as soon as I started, I was like, One Punch Man. I was like, he does kind of have that kind of same kind of thing, where it's like one punch and basically the whole storyline is over. So what story is there? You know? I mean, story can't really be too much about him being a superhero because he really doesn't have an enemy. And the things that he's invulnerable to don't really make sense necessarily. But that's just me. So, without further ado, I'm going to move on to the next part, which is his weaknesses. As I was just stating, he is vulnerable to kryptonite, the red stars or suns. Oh, red stars, not suns. I don't know why they put suns when I was researching it. Like, a huge error. Our star is called the sun, so I guess they just, whoever put it down, whatever. So red stars. He also has a weakness to magic. To a certain extent, he also has a weakness to lead. Like, he can't see through lead for some reason. I guess that has something to do with the X-ray vision or something like that. Because I guess they had to make him weak to something. And he's also vulnerable, but not weak to, I guess, necessarily or I guess this is one of his weaknesses. He has a soul. He can become exhausted. He can extinguish all of his solar energy and basically be almost as weak as a human. So that's actually something I didn't know. I didn't know he could fight or, use so much of his energy to the point that he doesn't actually, he's not so super. you know. So, and actually, when I thought of that, it actually played a big part in why I thought that Rogue could beat him. So, without further ado, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Rogue now, okay?
Flesh and blood, a mutant.
Daddy, please!
You're a disgrace. I'm ashamed to be seen with you. You ain't my daughter. Not anymore.
Daddy! Daddy! I had no choice. I had to leave. I had no one to turn to until...
You look like you could use a meal and a hot bath.
You taught me everything about my mutant powers. How I could steal people's memories and their powers. You training me for what you said would be the most important day of my life. Could you help me? Initiating takeoff procedure.
It's Miss Marvel.
That's Ms. Marvel to you. Surprise for you.
Grab her, Rogue! What are you doing? Mama, something's wrong! I want to let go! No! Hold on! No matter what! But something's happening, Mama! I'm scared! Don't let go!
So, Rogue is a Southern Belle, if you didn't know. She's about a teenager, young adult. She has a little white streak on her hair. Her hair is usually red. Sometimes they make her hair brown. I like it red, but the brown is okay too. I just like the red better because that's kind of like what I grew up knowing her hair to be.
Comics and television show. Her deadliest weapon is her own skin. With just a touch, she absorbs a person's memories, talents, personalities, and abilities, whether superhuman or not, to use them herself. Too bad it not.
But her abilities are to absorb her victim's powers and abilities. For every 1 second that she's in contact with someone's skin, she gets 60 seconds of their powers, and the memory part varies with that. In more recent issues, she has the ability to decide if she wants her touch to be lethal or non-lethal. So she could either touch you and absorb all of your energy and all of your life and all of your power and kill you instantly, or she can just do it normally, which is a power that she developed after getting help from Professor X, which I don't honestly get why he didn't help her like that to begin with. Like, it took you like 40 years to help her. Like, I don't, like, really? But anyway, so and she also has the power to decide, or not really to decide, but if the person that's getting their power taken, or in energy and memory taken, if they willingly give that to her when she's touching them, it won't hurt. So if the person doesn't want Rogue to take their abilities and memory and power, then it will hurt a lot. But if she doesn't, or if they don't mind her doing it, then it won't hurt them. It'll be less painful, at least. If not, it won't be excruciating as it is when she usually takes the abilities and powers and memory and stuff like that. So I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple of her victims that she's had also, because she has a huge list of people and abilities that she's taken. So I'm just going to run through a small little snippet about it. Starting with the most important one, okay, which is Miss Marvel. She took basically all of her powers and a lot of her memory too, I guess, because like she's basically living, her psyche's living in her head, so she kind of has these random episodes. At least she did one time when she was like kind of really going through it, and she had to go visit Miss Marvel in the hospital because she felt so bad about her being stuck in her head, and then Miss Marvel kind of woke up. But you know, that's more about Miss Marvel had her own little thing after she woke up. Which was kind of funny because she never went back and tried to fight Rogue because she learned her lesson not to mess with her. But anyway, so she also took Nightcrawler's ability when she was fighting him once. She's taken Storm's ability, Wolverine, Cyclops's, and more recently, the most recent ability she's taken, or essence and memory, is Wonder Woman's. And she's also taken She-Hulk's. She's taken She-Hulk's too, but then after She-Hulk was the most recent one, which was Wonder Woman. And now, I don't really necessarily know how that would work because Wonder Woman was given her gifts from the gods. So, you know, the ancient Roman or Greek gods, I believe it is. So, I think it's Greek. No, Roman gods. I think it was the Roman. I don't know, Roman or Greek. It was one of those. So, she got her powers bestowed upon her by those gods, or some of them anyway. And so I guess she got a lot of her strength and flying ability, which she already kind of had, and you know, just intuition, etc., like that, reflexes. So she absorbed a lot more people powers like Pyro, and I think she took Jean's ability before, and Shadowcat, a whole bunch of people. Really, like if you look through like her whole lifespan of as a character, like the games, the movies, the books, the comics, she's taken a lot of abilities. So I wasn't going to get into too deep into those details. Okay, so now I want to talk to you guys about the plan. The plan would be for her to take Mystique's, Professor X, Jean Grey, Wolverine, the Hawk, She-Hulk, Cyclops, Emma Frost, Scarlet Witch, the Flash, and Wonder Woman. She would take all of their powers completely, killing them so that they could not come back and tell Superman anything, of course. So she would take all of their power, all of their essence, all of their memory, and use that to get close to Lois Lane, who is his girlfriend or the love of his life. She would then kill Lois Lane using Mystique's power and Professor X's ability to become a perfect clone and look-alike of Lois Lane. Then she would kiss Superman and drain as much energy and power from him as possible before going into a death fight. And during that death fight, she would also have with her a kryptonite knife and some kryptonite guns. So I think with those things, I think she would be able to successfully beat Superman. And I also did a little bit of digging, and I found a fight of Rogue fighting Wonder Woman, which I thought was pretty cool. So I just wanted to show you guys that before we go into our next segment, okay, guys? So thank you so much for watching this part of FemBoi Tell 'Em, and on to the next part. All right, enjoy.
Fight.
Good night, sugar.
Alright, guys, so hope you enjoyed that fight. I thought it was pretty cool. Rogue gave Miss Wonder Woman that kiss of death, and it was... So basically the fight would go somewhat like that, but just a little bit more intense with Superman. That's how I think it is. And if that's not what you think, let me know down below. Leave a comment, okay? Now I wanted to talk to you guys about the Rolling Hot Man of the Moment. I'll give you guys a couple clues. He's gonna be from the same series as the last three people. His name starts with an R, ends with an O. He has a lot of facial hair. He's very tall. He just married a princess of Paris, and I think that's actually enough. Oh yeah, and he just recently killed a lot of his kinmen. So, without further ado, I think it's kind of sad, but I still love you anyway. So, without further ado, here is the man of the moment. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the man of the moment as much as I did, finding the images and telling you guys a little bit about him. Before we end my show, I would like to give a big shout out to a lot of the richest gay men out there in the world. If you didn't know, you will soon, and I actually have an upcoming episode about a transgendered woman who's actually one of the richest people in the world. So stay tuned for that, guys. That will be coming up shortly, okay? In a later episode. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe below. Please leave any comments. And without further ado, here are those shout outs. Peace, love, and light, guys. Bye.